Yo, what's happening, yo? What's happening, yo? It's DFJ Hoops here. Back at it with another one. I haven't done a live video in a long time, but it's a lot that's going on in the Sixers community. So we got to talk about it. We got to address certain things that's happening. We got to address some of the rumors, talk some trade talks, free agency plans, off-season plans. We're gonna talk about all of that. But I appreciate each and everyone that's in here listening to me on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Shout out to my guy Humble Man 420. He says, DFJ, my dog, what's good, bro? Hey, bro, I've been looking for Tuna Sports for a long time, bro. If you see him, tell him I'm looking for him. Yeah. But yeah, shout out to my guy Humble Man 420. And shout out to the boss, Thomas Talented. What's good, Thomas? Go Hawks. Yeah, go Hawks. Yeah, I told you that. I mean, the Hawks, they got the first pick in the draft this year. So we gonna see who they draft. And yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, shout out to my guy Thomas Talented. And shout out to each and everybody listening on the playback, tuning sports. If you're listening, bro, we need to make this happen, bro. We definitely got to make this happen. But let's get right into this. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into this. So, um, first of all, shout out to Joel Embiid. I saw him at the Champions League pregame show. He was on there with Jamie Carragher and a few soccer legends. So shout out to Joel Embiid. And he did discuss about his health. Talking about the knee procedure that he went through and talking about the Bell's palsy that he was dealing with. So Embiid did give some update about his health, and he did say he's feeling good. The knee is getting better. It's getting much better. It's much better than what it was in the playoffs. He still has, I think, a month and 2 weeks before the Olympics start. So he would definitely have enough time to get himself right, get his body right, get his mind right, and get ready for the Olympics this summer. And I think it's going to be in Paris or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to Embiid. I didn't even know he was that big of a soccer fan, but I'm a soccer fan myself, and I was glad that I saw him on the pregame show. And he was not, he was in full spirit. He was in high spirit. Even though the Sixers got eliminated in embarrassing fashion, you could tell that it didn't really bother him, and he's just focused on the task ahead to, get better this offseason, get his mind right, get healthy for next year, and hopefully the Sixers can take it on from there. But my guy Thomas Allenson says Tuna Sports. Nah, he was on the live. BJ's live yesterday. I saw him in the comment section, but yeah, I'm definitely looking for him. So if you find him, yeah, tell him I'm looking for him. Yeah, but I know he ain't ducking. He ducks no smoke. But let's talk about the Sixers offseason plan. So shout out to Keith Pompey. Keith has been putting in a lot of work this offseason. He's one of the guys in the media that I respect in terms of Sixers media. Him, Kyle Newbeck, Devon Givens, and all those other guys. John Mitchell. Like I have high respect for these guys. And Keith Pompey just released an article saying that the Sixers are interested in bringing back a few players that was on the team last year, which I'm really happy about it because I believe as a team, if you really want to win a championship, you need guys that's going to help you build, chemistry and continuity. I don't believe that if you bring in a set of new guys, you can just go and win a championship. I don't believe that's how it works. So, so for the offseason plans, I think the main priority is to, re-sign or extend Maxi on a long-term deal. I think that should be the best or the first plan in this offseason. Now, it's unfortunate that Maxi couldn't make the All NBA team, so he's not gonna get. I mean, he's getting a max contract, but it's not gonna be the max contract that I expected him to get. I did make a statement last time that I don't see why Maxi shouldn't be getting the same deals that Tyrese Halliburton got or Anthony Edwards got. Now, don't get me wrong; these two guys are better than Tyrese Maxey, but I believe for what he was doing this year, I mean, him getting better after season, and him adding to his game every single season and getting better at something. I just believe that playing at a high level, he definitely played himself into a supermax contract, and he definitely is next in line once Embiid starts to break down. I think Maxi will definitely be the best player on this team, and so I believe giving him 260, it's not that crazy to say. Me personally, I really believe that he definitely deserved it. But missing out on the All NBA team, he's not gonna get that much money. I think the highest he can get is 205, which I mean it's not that's a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but it's not 260. But shout out to Maxi, most improved player, made his first All-Star team. He could have definitely made the All NBA team, but that wasn't the case. But I expect Maxi to get a lot more better next year. Taking a leap in year 5. I expect him to be a much better playmaker. I mean, he did improve his playmaking this season, but I expect him to be even much better as a playmaker next year, and having a high. I mean, yeah, having a high assist. I mean, not a having a high assist to turnover ratio, and finding guys on easy backdoor cuts, driving kicks, operating in the pick and roll, dishing out, skip passes and cross court passes, finding or threading the needle for Joel Embiid to get him going. I expect to see Maxi doing a lot of playmaking next year, and hopefully that could definitely be enough for the Sixers. I mean, obviously they have to build this team that can help Maxi in terms of his growth in year 5. But I see Maxi definitely improving and taking a much leap in year 5 in terms of his playmaking. His scoring ability, I mean, it's so good. He averaged like 26 points per game this year. His percentages went down a little bit because if you increase your volume, the percentages are not going to look too good. I mean, not everybody's Steph Curry, not everybody is, some of these high volume 3-point shooters that are still able to shoot in the high 40s. So um, he shot 38% from the three, which I mean it's not bad, but it's not so efficient. I think it's in year 2 and in year 3 he was shooting like 42 or 43%. He was like the second or third best in terms of shooting percentages, 3-point shooting percentages, but he didn't really have that because he had to increase his volume, which, like I said, it does take an impact on your percentages. But I expect him to get a lot better next year because this was the first time he had to be some sort of a volume shooter because his first, second, and third seasons with Ben Simmons around and with James Harden around, that didn't really give him a lot of volume in terms of shooting threes. But next season, I expect him to be much better than he was this year in terms of shooting threes. Now the scoring is great. I mean, he's a 3-level scorer. Obviously, he can get to the basket. He can shoot the three. His free throw percentages has to get better too. Don't get me wrong. I want to see him shooting like 87 or 88 from the free throw line. So, but shout out to Tyrese Maxey. Year 4 had a good season. Hit a game winner in the playoffs, but unfortunately the Sixers got eliminated. So, and me personally, I don't praise losing. So those are empty stats in my opinion. But next year, I can see him if he takes a huge leap into next season. I can see the Sixers doing something special. Next on my list, I have Kelly Oubre Jr. Now, this is a little bit tricky because Kelly Oubre, the Sixers, for number one, the Sixers do not have his bird rights, meaning other teams could offer him more money than the Sixers can. So it all depends on Kelly Oubre, whether he wants to win or whether he wants to go after the money. Now, if you're in Kelly Oubre's shoes, um, last season, last season, no team wanted to sign him. And it took the Sixers about, I think, 2 weeks into training camp before the Sixers took a chance on him and signed him to a minimum, a veteran's minimum contract, which it was a little bit surprising because the season prior he was averaging 20. Now, yeah, he was putting up 20 on the Charlotte Hornets, which is not a good team, but nonetheless, he was putting up 20, and I don't see why no teams wanted to take a chance on him. Now, me personally, everybody knows how high I am on role players, and especially wing role players that could, shoot the three, that can get to the basket, that can play some great defense. I'm really high on guys like that. And the situation around Kelly Oubre, I don't know why teams didn't want to sign him because I mean, yeah, he's not so efficient, but I mean, you can't tell me that having Kelly Oubre on your team, he doesn't bring any value to a team. He definitely does. And if you're making him the best player on your team, yeah, it's definitely not going to work out because that's not his role. That's not what he does. He's not supposed to be the star player on the team because um he could get his numbers, but the percentages is not going to look good. The win, the you're not going to win a lot of games. probably going to lose a lot of games if he's your best player. But as a complementary piece to a championship level team, I don't see how Kelly Oubre does not fit on the team. And I'm glad that the Sixers plan to bring him back. Now, it depends on him whether he wants to win or whether he wants to go for the money. Because, like I said, the Sixers, other teams can offer him more money, but if he really wants to win and, looking at the Sixers situation, if he thinks that this Sixer team can win a championship after what they do in the offseason, including the decision to bring him back and the caliber of players they signed to the team, if he looks at the team and decides that this team is not going to help me win, then obviously he's definitely going to take the money, go somewhere else, and go get the bag. Same thing that Bruce Brown did after he won a championship with the Denver Nuggets last year. He took the money and went to the Indiana Pacers. They paid him. They gave him a solid deal, a solid contract. I think it was a 2-year, 50 or $45 million contract, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, he went for the bag. He didn't care about winning because he already won. He already has a championship. So at that point, the only thing that matters to him is the bag, and he went for the bag. And I'm not mad at him. So shout out to Bruce Brown. But Kelly Oubre, it all depends on him. Now, if I'm to guess and to predict what his decision is going to be in the offseason, I would say he'll definitely return because he really said he really likes this team. He likes the city. He likes the fans. The fans welcomed him with open arms, him, his family. Now, it was unfortunate that he was going through certain things during the season and, getting into that bicycle crash, car crash, whatever that was. He still didn't turn his back on the city. He still did good things for the city. He still gave the fans their props, appreciated the fans, and every time he stepped on the floor, certain nights he was not having a good night, but one thing you couldn't question was his effort. He's never lazy. He never takes plays off. Now, yeah, he's gonna miss some shots if he takes a lot of shots. He's gonna miss some, but one thing you can't question is his heart. One thing you can't question is his effort, and that's one thing I really like about Kelly Oubre. And I definitely want to see the Sixers bring him back because when he was on the team on certain nights, he was the second best player. On certain nights, he was the third best player. Now, I'm saying second because after Joel got hurt and Maxey had to step up and be the first option, Tobias Harris wasn't doing his job. And we saw guys like Kelly Oubre step up. We saw guys like Buddy Hield step up as well. So, um, based on what he did for the Sixer team and in the playoffs, stepping up huge offensively and defensively, locking up Jalen Brunson those first 2 games, I didn't really see that in him. And my guy Thomas Talented was even surprised because he's been watching Kelly Oubre for a long time, and he never thought that Kelly Oubre could be this good defensively. But yeah, he did his thing defensively in those first 2 games. Now, obviously, Jalen Brunson broke loose and he started going off in those last 4 games. But stepping up huge defensively and also offensively, I think Kelly Oubre averaged the third most points on the team in the playoffs, which Tobias Harris, he completely folded and he was nowhere to be found. And that was evidently in game 6 where he played 30 minutes and he scored 0 points. Now, I'm not trying to bash Tobias Harris, but I'm just saying that nights that Tobias Harris wasn't there, Kelly Oubre stepped up. And, sometimes being the second scoring option or even being the third scoring option, that really did help the Sixers in a very positive way. And I definitely want to see him on this team back for sure. Thomas Tallenson says I just hit him up on Instagram. Yeah, I hit him up too, but he didn't get back to me. So I don't know what's going on. Hopefully everything's all right with him. Yeah, hopefully everything's all right with him. Um, Nick Nurse elevated Oubre. Impressive. Hey Thomas, you know what? I'm glad you said that because uh I haven't really seen you being high on Nick Nurse. You give other coaches a lot of props, but I haven't really seen you give Nick Nurse props. Maybe you have, but maybe I'm just forgetting about it. So I'm glad you're giving my coach a lot of props, but hopefully you can give Ty Lue some props as well. Yeah, shout out to Ty as well. But hold on, Tom. If you're saying that Nick Nurse elevated Oubre, is it fair that I say that Ty Lue elevated Terrence Mann in this year's playoffs? That's a question. Oh my goodness. Humble Man says, "What position do you think y'all need?" I would say power forward because I'm not sure how much you trust J. Cole's. That was started Tobias Harris. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely get to it, bro. I'm gonna definitely get to it. That's in the free agency rumors and the trade target. So we're just in the offseason plans now. Ta- Man, Thomas, you gotta stop, man. You gotta give Ty Lewis props, bro. Yeah, team man. Yeah, he was that, but who gave him the opportunity to show that? Tyronn Lue. So I just think you need to give him his props. I mean, you give him props sometimes, but yeah, I think you bash him more than you give him props. Yeah, you bash him more than you give him props. But let's not get off topic. So that's it for Kelly Oubre. And the third player that the Sixers plan to bring back is veteran point guard Kyle Lowry. Now, I've been really I was highly critical on Kyle Lowry before he even came to the Sixers. When he was on the Miami Heat, I used to go back and forth with Big Tone, cooking him, bashing him, criticizing him because he wasn't on the Sixers. So the least thing he did bad, I was gonna criticize him no matter what. And I don't like the Miami Heat, so that just made it easier for me to criticize him every single time. But once he got on the Sixers, I really saw the importance of having a veteran player, the importance of having uh, a guy who's won a championship, a veteran guy, leader of the locker room, great guy to have in the locker room, and his mentorship on Tyrese Maxey. I mean, before he signed with this team, one of his goals was to make Maxey or to bring the best out of Maxey. And we didn't get to see it fully because he came mid-season. I mean, the Sixers got him in the buyout market, so he didn't start off the season with him. But having Kyle Lowry, this if the Sixers really plan to bring him back, me personally, I'm not gonna be opposed to it because Kyle Lowry is gonna be heading into his 19th season, year 19. I think he's the only player left from his draft class. I think he came in the league in 2006. So him, PJ Tucker still in the league. So him, PJ Tucker. And yeah, I think that's it. Because Rondo retired, Aldridge retired. A lot of the players from the 2006 class, they all retired. Did Lou Will come in '06 or '05? Nah, Lou Will was '05. Yeah, I think Lou Will was '05 because he was on the team when Iverson was on the team. So yeah, Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker are the only two guys left from the 2006 draft class. And is Rudy Gay? Rudy Gay still is he still playing? I don't know, but nonetheless, he's in his 19th season, so the Sixers are not going to give him a max contract. That's not going to happen. So the most the Sixers can give him is the veteran minimums contract, which you have to sign guys to the vet minimum. I mean, teams do it. Every team does it. So if you're signing Kyle Lowry to a vet minimum, me personally, I'm not going to be opposed to it because he's a good leader. I'm not going to say great, but he's definitely a good leader. Um, Even when he steps on the floor, he's not, ultra physical and he's not, a great on ball defender, but his ability to play defense off ball, his ability to play in the passing lanes, and even, sacrificing his body sometimes to draw charges. Bro, he was drawing charges in the Knicks series against OG Anunoby. And, OG is a big dude. And, when he's driving to the basket and you sacrifice your body trying to draw a charge, that shows you how committed he is into winning. And I think Kyle Lowry definitely wants to win. Now, he's, like I said, he's a veteran player. So his contributions is not going to be the same thing as in previous years because he was much younger. He was much faster at that point. He could move laterally. He could move his feet. But right now, he's still formidable. He can definitely run your offense. He can definitely get you into your sets. He can definitely push the ball in transition, even though he's not as fast. But he's definitely a good transition player. Only thing I don't like about Kyle Lowry is the flopping. which he's been flopping his whole entire career. Um, that's something he's gonna do. I mean, he'll flop to sometimes draw fouls and give up on plays sometimes. Hold on, y'all give me a second. I'll be right back. Yeah, sorry about that. Yo. I had to I had to get a drink of water real quick. But yeah, the only negatives in Kyle Lowry's game is, him trying to draw fouls, even though he doesn't draw fouls to the level that James Harden does. But he'll flop here and there, give up on plays sometimes. That's the only negatives I have. But if the Sixers do sign him, he's not gonna be a starter. I don't think they're gonna start him. They'll probably bring him off the bench, trying to be a bench, be the leader off the bench, and kind of like the same role that Russell Westbrook is in with the LA Clippers. I mean, he's not a starter. He comes off the bench, plays with Norman Powell, Amir Coffey, and all those other guys. The big guy, Mason Plumlee. He's not. Russ doesn't play with the starters, and I think that's the same role that Kyle Lowry's going to be in, coming off the bench, bringing some level of energy off the bench, and being a mentor to these guys in the locker room. I mean, we could see Kyle Lowry could definitely mentor Maxi, even Ricky Council the fourth, and some of our young guys that we have on the bench. So hopefully the Sixers do bring back Kyle Lowry, and this will probably be his last season. I mean, year 19, he definitely has a lot of miles on those legs. So, shout out to Kyle Lowry, Philly kid. He grew up only 35, 40 minutes away from where I grew up from. So, shout out to Kyle Lowry. And yeah, now let's transition into the free agency rumors. Let's transition. Let's make that transition now. Um, as we all have heard, the Sixers there have been multiple rumors on the caliber of players that the Sixers might go after in this year's offseason, free agency. Big time free agent players have been connected to the Sixers. And knowing Daryl Morey, he'll definitely want to get some star caliber players. That's definitely his plan. Thomas Allenson says, "We're bringing Kyle Lowry to LA, sir." Um, yeah, I definitely have heard those rumors, but I mean, I don't think he really wants to be in LA. He wants to be in his hometown, Philly, and he definitely has a better chance of winning the championship with the Sixers than he does with the Clippers, because Y is always hurt. So, but yeah, he ain't going to LA, bro. He ain't going to LA. But yeah, that's that. But yeah, so the Sixers have been, in connections with, some of the big time players in this year's free agency, like a Paul George, a few other free agents, LeBron, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and all these names. Now the Siakam and OG have not been so huge, but for the most part, the biggest names you hear is Paul George, Zach Levine, LeBron, and all these other guys. Now we're going to talk about everything one by one. We're going to break everything down. So let's start from the beginning. Now, I think Keith Pompey, he released the article, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, saying that the Sixers are interested, or the Sixers are willing to go the maximum to give Paul George a max contract. They're willing to give him more than what the Clippers are willing to give him, which I don't know how much the Clippers want to give him. But from what I heard that the Clippers are not willing to give him more than what they gave Kawhi Leonard. Because keep in mind, they extended him on a 3 year, 150, 157, something like that. That is a max contract, because he's getting 50 plus mil over the next 3 seasons. So that's a max contract. But the Clippers are not willing to give that same deal or even more to Paul George, and rightfully so. I don't think PG deserves that. I mean, he hasn't shown that he warrants that money. He hasn't shown that if you make him the best player, he can, get you over the hump. He's not that kind. He's not that caliber of player. He can't lead you to a championship. And the Clippers are realizing that now, and they're saying that no, we're not going to give PG a max contract. If we want to bring you back, you have to take a team friendly deal, or you have to opt into your final year and come back for just one season. And that's what the Clippers are saying. Now, we've heard that the Sixers are willing to give him 212. That's 4 years to 212. That's definitely a max contract. And the Sixers are willing to go the maximum to give him that contract if the Clippers are not willing to bring him back on a long-term deal. Now, knowing Paul George, like I keep saying this, Paul George is one of my favorite players. He's my favorite player in the NBA. But I dropped a video like 2 months ago when this rumors first started, and I gave reasons why the Sixers shouldn't sign him. And I'm still standing on that. I'm not walking it back. I'm still standing on it. I don't think the Sixers need to sign him because we don't need we don't need Paul George. Now we definitely need wing players. Don't get me wrong. We definitely need wing players. But looking at Paul George's skill set, where he is in his career right now, he's going to be in year 15. Come next season into the playoffs, he's going to be year 15. 34 years old. By the playoffs next year, he's going to be 35. And I think Paul George is going down. He's on the decline. He's not at the caliber that he once was 5 years ago when he was with the Thunder, when he was the MVP caliber player that he was. Thomas says, "Y'all get PG, and I like y'all to do damage, bro. We don't need PG. Embiid always hurt though. Yeah, and that's why we don't need to get Paul George because we already have an injury prone player on the team, and Paul George has been injury prone. Now he was lucky he didn't get hurt this year. Um, we saw him in the playoffs. Um, he was healthy in the playoffs. He wasn't hurt, and his play significantly went down. His averages went down. His percentages went down in the playoffs. He's not a winning player. It is what it is. He's not. And I'm being honest, he's not a winning player. And when you try to rely on him to step up and be a first option, that's definitely a recipe for disaster because we saw it in this year's playoffs, right? Kawhi Leonard went out and PG had to step up as the first option. And we saw that he wasn't willing to do that. He wasn't willing to do that. Give me a second, y'all. Yeah, he wasn't really willing to, step up and be the first option and lead the Clippers to a series winning to win a series. And as a result, the Dallas Mavericks eliminated them in 6 games. And in game 5 was so terrible. I mean, the Clippers lost by 30, and Paul George, James Harden, they were nowhere to be found. Now, I don't have any beef with James Harden. Harden is not in his prime, but PG's supposed to be in his prime. I think this year will be the last year of his prime. And it ended in disappointment for the Clippers. They got eliminated in the first round. I don't want to hear Kawhi was hurt. I'm not trying to hear that. No, we're not doing that. PG didn't step up as the first option. He averaged like 17 or 19 points per game. And that's not conducive to winning. If you're supposed to be the first option, if you can't step up as the first option in order to win, then you're not a winning player. Now, if he joins the Clippers, he's not going to be a first option. He'll probably be maybe a third option or maybe a second option, depending on if Maxi's going to take a back seat or not. And if you put Paul George on on the Sixers, right? And God forbid next year Embiid goes down with the injury, it's season over for the Clippers. I mean, for the Sixers, because PG is not going to step up as much as you need him to in order to win. He's not a winning player. It is what it is. It's time to say the truth and face the backlash. He's not a winning player, even though he is my favorite player, and he's my favorite player because of his skill set. Now, as a when it comes to stepping up and going to win a championship, Paul George is not that caliber player. At this point, I think he's a role player at best. I think he should just sign for the minimum, right? Come off the bench. I mean, he's much better than a bench player. I mean, let me stop trolling, but at this point, you can't have him on the team expecting him to be a huge contributor on a championship level team. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And we've seen this. We saw this past playoffs in the Dallas series. So I don't think if the Sixers sign Paul George, I don't think this move will get the Sixers over the hump because Paul George is not that caliber of player. So that's it with Paul George. Now let me go to the second player who's being rumored to join the Sixers. This man right here. First of all, congratulations to LeBron. He's made the All NBA team like 20 straight years in a row. That's insane. Averaging 25 for 20 straight years. That's insane. That's greatness. So shout out to LeBron. Year 21, and he's still playing at a star caliber level. I mean, what player did we ever see in year 20 or in year 21 playing at this level? Kareem wasn't playing at this level when he was in year 20. He wasn't. Kareem was over after 1985 when they won that championship against the Boston Celtics. He was over with. Robert Parrish played like 21, 22 years. He was over. Vince Carter was over in year 22 when he played with the Atlanta Hawks. Hey, shout out to Thomas, man. Shout out to Tom. Vince Carter was over, right? Dirk Nowitzki was over in year 21. But we see LeBron still playing at a high level, at a star caliber level, making an All-Star team, making an All-NBA team, averaging 25. That's star. He's giving you star quality production. So shout out to LeBron. But if you add LeBron to the Sixer team, does that guarantee a championship? Now, me personally, I don't think so. I don't think it guarantees a championship. And the reason why I'm saying it is because look at the teams that he's playing on, right? He's playing with the Lakers, has Anthony Davis, a top 75 player, Hall of Famer, right? And they have a bunch of role players, right? And they can't get over the hump. Now, yeah, I know somebody's gonna say the Western Conference is a tough conference. If the Lakers were in the Eastern Conference, they're probably in the Eastern Conference. I know people are gonna say that, which I disagree with, but have at it. You can say whatever you want. But if you add LeBron to the Sixer team, do they go to win a championship? If you swap Tobias Harris and you insert LeBron on the Sixers, do the Sixers go and win a championship? And my answer is no. Now they probably could get to the Western Conference Finals, but they're not winning the championship. Now, why am I saying that they're not winning the championship? It's because I don't think LeBron impacts winning anymore. I just don't think he does. And you would think that him playing with Anthony Davis, him playing with the Lakers. Now, some people are gonna say the Lakers are trash, but they definitely had a chance in this year's playoffs. They had a chance against the Denver Nuggets, right? And I think heading into every fourth quarter, they had the lead, right? And I'm not gonna say they choked, but certain plays, they didn't run certain plays. They missed certain defensive rotations. They missed certain defensive assignments, and the Lakers ended up losing. We saw one of those games where somebody shot the ball on the Denver Nuggets, and LeBron James, instead of boxing out his guy, right, Aaron Gordon, he didn't do it. He just stood there, and Aaron Gordon was able to reach over him, get the offensive rebound, kick it out to an open shooter, and Michael Porter Jr. made the shot. So LeBron is going to give you some level of production offensively, yeah, he'll definitely average his 25, right? He'll give you 25, 8 and 7, or 7 and 8, or 25, 6 and 7, right? But this move is not going to guarantee you a championship. His numbers do not impact winning, and bringing him over here is not going to help us win a championship, right? And if you're bringing LeBron, that means you have to draft Bronny James, because he's said that he's only going to a team that drafts Bronny. And drafting Bronny, I think any team that drafts Bronny James, you're making a huge mistake, because in college he didn't show you anything promising that shows that he could be a good enough professional player. I mean, I didn't see it. I don't watch college basketball, but the little videos, the little games that I watched, Bronny James didn't stick out to me. So I don't think bringing LeBron James guarantees you a championship. Now, it could get you a few wins in the Eastern Conference, right? 25, 8 and 7. Yeah, that's good enough for the Eastern Conference. I mean, that can win you. It could win you 50 games in the regular season, as good as 50 games in the regular season. But do I think it's going to end up or result in a championship? No, I don't think so. Now, I know a lot of Sixer fans are going to disagree with me. All these little kids that I came across in one of those group chats. I didn't even know they were kids, saying that, yeah, we need LeBron. These guys, these little kids don't know nothing about basketball. So, yeah, they see LeBron James. They see, 25 points and 8 rebounds and 7 assists. They think it's conducive to winning. But it's only good for the regular season. It's not going to help you win a championship. And I don't think LeBron James, at this stage of his career, could be a second option or a first option on a championship level team. And I'm saying second or first because I don't think if the Sixers sign him, he's going to be a third option. I don't see that. If you sign him, Max is going to be relegated into the corner like he was when James Harden was here, right? LeBron will have the ball in his hands most of the time, right? And he's going to dictate. Now, don't get me wrong. LeBron is a great, probably one of the best playmakers in this league, right? One of the best passers in this league, right? But having the ball in his hands all the time, letting him dictate plays and, running the offense through him, I don't think it's conducive to winning. And it's only good for the regular season. But in terms of postseason basketball, you're not going to win a championship like that. And I think it's just not going to be a good sign-in for the Sixers. So the Sixers should definitely stay away from bringing LeBron James to Philly. Shout out to my guy Mitch Kovsky. I appreciate you for being here, bro. Y'all can go sub to Mitch Kovsky's YouTube page, Mitch Maniacs. that's cool. That's creative from you. That's creative of you. Yeah, shout out to you for being in here. He says no to Paul George. Yep. And no to LeBron James. I absolutely agree. And I was on your channel and we discussed this. And yeah, I gave my reasons why the Sixers shouldn't sign Paul George. I mean, he's injury prone. We already have an injury prone player on the team, right? That's number one. And number two, we just saw him in the playoffs and he wasn't as good as he was in the regular season. It is what it is. I'm not capping. I'm just stating facts. PG as the third option for y'all. Bro, the time is stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it, bro. It's not fire, bro. Stop it. Stop it. If PG okay, then y'all should sign him. I mean, Hawks, when after y'all draft, whoever y'all draft in the first with the first pick, you can sign PG in free agency. And you can give us DeAndre Hunter. Because I would definitely want DeAndre Hunter on my team. He says LeBron plays for stats. That's trash. Yeah, he does play for stats. I mean his impact on winning is not as good as he used to be, and it is what it is. He plays for the stats, and in terms of winning, he goes away from what actually works because if you watch the Denver Nuggets series, when they were going to Anthony Davis, they were successful. But in the fourth quarter, LeBron James deciding to be LeBron James, wanting to be the star, wanting to be the hero. He starts jacking up shots, right? He turns it to Stephen Curry, and we all know you're not Steph Curry. Now, yeah, you did shoot 40% from the 3-point line. That's probably the best you've ever shot from the three your whole entire career. Kudos to you for that, right? And I was hearing people saying that LeBron James this year was the best 3-point shooter than Stephen Curry. Bro, stop it. Stop it. Yeah, they both shot 40% or better from the three. But just look at the volume. Steph Curry is shooting like 11 threes or 12 threes, and LeBron's only shooting 5. So cut it out. Cut it out. But yeah, LeBron, instead of doing what works, going to Anthony Davis, because AD had the mismatch. I don't think Jokic can guard AD, and vice versa. AD can guard Jokic. But instead of them doing what was working in the first half, he went away from it and wanting to be the hero, wanting to be the star player. He started jacking up shots, going to the basket and not getting foul calls, not finishing at the basket. Just boneheaded plays down the stretch. And in game 2, you had a wide open lane to the basket, right? They set a screen and KCP was guarding you. They set a screen. KCP falls. You have a straight path to the basket and you take a you take a 3 with 11 seconds with 11 seconds left on the shot clock. Come on, bro. That's not winning plays. That is not winning play. So, if you're the Sixers, I don't want LeBron. Sixer fans shouldn't want LeBron because when he comes here, yeah, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be great for the regular season, right? But for the playoffs, yeah, we already know what it's gonna look like. So these are reasons why I don't think the Sixers should bring back. Should sign LeBron in free agency. I don't even. We don't need LeBron. We just need young, athletic wing players, hungry and young, athletic wing players that are versatile and that are willing to do whatever it takes to win. That's the kind of players we need. Now, yeah, we do need some scorers. We do need some shooters, but I think we definitely have offense. Embiid is averaging 35. Now, I don't think he's going to average 35 next year, but I believe Maxi's going to take some of that pressure away, and the role players that we're going to sign is definitely going to give you some kind of contributions as well. So I don't think we need 2 or 3 guys averaging 20 plus. No, we don't. Embiid is averaging 20 plus. Maxi's averaging 20 plus. And yeah, we don't need LeBron or any star caliber players. Now, let me clear this off. Let me get this clear. I'm not opposed to getting a star caliber player. I'm not. The only thing that I have concerns with is if you're going to sign a star player, make sure that you don't do it in a way that it prevents you or it doesn't allow you to sign very good enough role players, because we know you do need role players to win in this league. And this year's playoffs is showing you why role players are important. Now, yeah, the star players are going to do their thing, right? If you look at the Dallas Mavericks, Kyrie Irving is doing his thing. Luka is doing his thing, right? But the Daniel Gafford was on the Washington Wizards, and I used to laugh at him all the time because I remember Embiid giving him 50 in 3 quarters. I remember Anthony Davis giving him 55 and 17. I remember Kevin Durant crossing him up and making him a meme, and that picture's all over Instagram, right? But he was on the losing team, and because of that, I didn't respect him. But he gets traded to the Dallas Mavericks, and look at what he's doing. He's giving you good quality production as a starter. Now, I'm not saying he's a great player. No, I'm not saying that, but he could definitely give you some kind of contributions as a role player. He definitely can give you some level of production if you have him on your team. But when he was with the Wizards, we didn't see that. So having role players is so great. And also another example is PJ Washington. PJ Washington was on the Charlotte Hornets, and people didn't really respect him. Nobody respected his talents, right? But he gets traded to the Dallas Mavericks, and they gave up a lot for him. They gave up 2 players and 2 draft picks for him, showing you that the Mavs really valued PJ Washington's talents, right? He gets traded to Dallas, and he's balling out for them, shooting threes, playing defense, grabbing rebounds, and people were even making the argument that in the second round he was the best player for the Mavs. Now I disagree, right? I disagree, but he was definitely a valuable player in that second round for the Dallas Mavericks because he was hitting those big threes. He was grabbing rebounds. He was playing defense. Like he was doing his thing. So shout out to all the role players. Shout out to role players, and I think the Sixers need to go in the same route. If you can get a star caliber player and you don't have to give up much in terms of your salary cap, yeah, definitely go for it. But if signing a star player prevents you from adding quality role players to your team, then I'm against that. I'm against that. I don't want no Phoenix Suns or Phoenix Suns situation with the Sixers because they have literally no quality role players and they got swept. So that's that. So let me go into this last segment and I mean I could drop the link and if you really want to come in and cook, yeah, y'all can come in. But the last segment is the trade target. So now the Sixers don't really have a lot on this team. I think the Sixers have like 10 free agents. So if the Sixers are going to make any trades, it's going to be through sign and trade. So if you want to sign Tobias Harris and then trade him to the Pistons and get a quality piece, yeah, I'll definitely go that route because I'm not in support of free agents walking for free. Like that's not what I that's not what I believe in. I'm definitely against that. But one of the trades that we've heard these past few weeks is the Sixers acquiring this player, Jimmy Butler. Now, shout out to Jimmy. It was unfortunate that he got hurt in the playing game. I think this picture was from the playing game where he injured his MCL. He was going for a shot, right? He pump faked, got the defender in the air, and jumped into him. And Kelly Oubre came down on his knees. So, it was unfortunate that he got hurt because you don't want to see players getting hurt. Um, but is it a possibility that the Sixers can get Jimmy Butler in a trade? A lot of Sixer fans believe that. A lot of Sixer fans believe that Jimmy Butler really wants to come to Philly because he has unfinished business in Philly. And they believe that the Sixers did him wrong, which they did by trading him and robbing or or not giving this team the right piece that it needed to win a championship. So that's what some Philly fans think. And Keith Pompey did release an article that the Sixers are willing to give him a max contract if they're able to land him through a trade, right? But I don't think the Sixers can sign. I don't think the Sixers can sign or trade for Jimmy Butler. And the reason why I'm saying this is because number one, let's say that Jimmy doesn't want to be in Miami anymore, right? Let's say he's fed up with Miami, he wants to leave. Pat Riley is not going to trade him to an Eastern Conference team. He would definitely ship him out the West. I mean, ship him to the West. We've seen Pat Riley do this over and over again with his best players, right? In case y'all don't know or y'all don't remember, what did he do with Shaq when he traded Shaq? He shipped him to the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference, right? What did he do with Tim Hardaway? He shipped him to the Western Conference to the Dallas. Was it the Dallas? Yeah, the Dallas Mavericks. Not Tim Hardaway Jr. Not this Tim Hardaway Jr. But the older Tim Hardaway, his father. He was once with the Miami Heat, but he shipped them to the Western Conference. They don't trade players to the Eastern Conference. And I was even shocked at first that the Sixers would trade Jimmy to Miami. Now, yeah, it was a 3-team trade, but to trade one of your best players to your rivals in the Eastern Conference, that's just that's just surprising because a lot of teams don't do that. A lot of teams don't do that. I mean, when we traded Allen Iverson, we didn't trade him to the Eastern Conference. We shipped him to the Denver Nuggets, right? We shipped him off to the Nuggets. When we traded James Harden, we shipped him off to the Clippers. Now, yeah, the Sixers did trade Ben Simmons to the Brooklyn Nets in the Eastern Conference and in the same division, but I don't see Miami trading Jimmy to the Sixers. I don't see that happening. And I don't even know why Sixer fans really think that the Miami Heat will do that, because that's not how they operate. Pat Riley doesn't operate like that. And I don't even see why Jimmy would want to leave Miami, because I believe this is the best situation for him to win a championship. And with him going down the way he did, that was definitely unfortunate. And you could tell that Jimmy really wants to come back healthy and play in the playoffs, especially against Boston, because Boston, they gentlemen swept them in the first round. And if you're a Jimmy Butler, you have unfinished business in Miami, not in Philly, because this team just swept you. I mean, gentlemen swept you, and they're in the NBA Finals. So if I'm Jimmy, I want to get back healthy as possible, right, and go through the playoffs, and hopefully I face the Boston Celtics and get back revenge, or even hell, I want to go up against the Sixers, because I got hurt in the game against the Sixers. I got hurt against the Sixers in the play-in tournament, right? They eliminated us, and then we had to eventually win 2 games. I mean, win 1 game and get into the playoffs and face the Boston Celtics. And I wasn't there to help my team, and as a result, my team lost. If I'm Jimmy, I want to get back healthy and face that team again, because we got embarrassed. So I don't think if I'm Jimmy, I really don't want to go to Philly. And this situation is kind of like reminding me of it's reminding me of a chick that broke up with her boyfriend because her boyfriend was broke, had no money, and then 3 4 years later, her boyfriend now has money and is now famous, and she now wants to get back with them. That's the same situation I see with the Sixers and Jimmy. You traded Jimmy, right? Because he had never got out the second round or whatever. He didn't get well with the coach. I mean, he didn't get along with the coach. So you traded him. And now that he's a little bit successful, he's been to the finals twice. Now, yeah, he didn't win. He's been to the finals twice, and he's been to the conference finals 3 times. Now you want him back on your team. I think that's a perfect that's the perfect situation. A chick breaking up with her boyfriend, and then 3 4 years later, she realizes that her boyfriend has money, her boyfriend is famous. Now she wants to get back with the boyfriend again. But yeah, it's too late. It's definitely too late. Humble says we were robbed of Jimmy and Joel only a year together. Yeah, we were. And it wasn't a year, because we got Jimmy in December of 2018. So that's not a full year. That's almost half a season, right? And yeah, we were definitely robbed, because I looked at that Jimmy and Joel duo, and I was comparing it. I was saying that this is a low budget version of Moses Malone and Dr. J. I was saying that. I was that. Now, obviously, Dr. J is better than Jimmy. Moses Malone is, if you're ranking, you will rank Moses Malone higher than Embiid, even though I believe Embiid has more talent than him. But yeah, I just think that those guys are better. That's why I'm saying it's a low budget version of that. But yeah, if Jimmy was on the Sixers definitely do some great things. But at this point, I mean, how old is Jimmy? 35, or he's gonna be 36 this year. Wait, he was born in 1988, so yeah, he's gonna be 36 this year. That's crazy. Yeah. He's gonna be 36 years old. But I mean, he's not showing any signs of slowing down. He's not showing any signs of, um but I mean, he's just getting hurt. He's getting hurt. He's getting injured. He was injured last year. He had that ankle injury against the Knicks in the second round, right? And this year he doesn't even play in the playoffs. So he's breaking down. He's Injuries is catching up to him. So I don't know if bringing him here, if that was to happen, I don't know who could say that he's not going to get hurt. I mean, anything could happen, right? Now, am I saying I'm opposed to bringing Jimmy Butler in? I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that I don't see him go into Philly or come into Philly. I don't see Pat Riley trading him to Philly, because that's not how he operates. Pat Riley doesn't do that. He'll ship you to the Western Conference. Ask Shaq, ask Tim Hardaway Jr. Ask Tim Hardaway, and ask any of the best players that played for the Miami Heat and were traded. Caron Butler was traded to LA. So yeah, that's how Pat Riley operates. He's not gonna ship you to the Eastern Conference. That's not what he does. Humble Man says, facts, not even a year. It felt like a year with the chemistry. Yeah, it definitely did. It definitely did. Yeah. I've been saying he's a little too old. I've been saying he's a little older too, which is wild to think about. Like he said, you wouldn't even know he's in his late 30s. Yeah, yeah, I see that. I mean, his work ethic is just insane, and like I said, he's not showing any signs of slowing down. Um, and he doesn't play solely on athleticism. So yeah, it's definitely not going to show you that. But guys that play with athleticism, when they're breaking down, you could tell. And Jimmy does take care of his body. I think Jimmy definitely takes care of his body. He's not. I mean, he does party, but he doesn't party as much as somebody I know, right? So yeah, I mean, 36 years old, still. I mean, you couldn't even tell that he's in his 30s, but yeah, he's getting up there in age, and he definitely wants to win. And if you're Jimmy, I mean, if you look at these two teams, who do you think you could have a better chance of winning a championship with, Miami or Philly? At least with the Miami Heat, we went there twice, right? Now, unfortunately, we came up short, but Philly hasn't even been there. Hell, they haven't even been out the second round. So if I'm him, I'm definitely staying with Miami. But he probably has his own plans, right? Maybe Miami's also saying that we're not going to pay this dude the amount that he's commanding, and we would rather trade him and get something, get some pieces for him. But again, Pat Riley does not trade his best players to teams in the Eastern Conference. So even if he gets traded, I don't think it's going to be to the Sixers. I don't. I just don't see that happening. Now I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I could be wrong, but Pat Riley doesn't. He doesn't do. I mean, name me a time where he traded his best player to a team in the Eastern Conference. I just can't remember. So yeah. Humble Man says Pacers might be better than the Miami Heat right now. DFJ. Um. Hmm. I would disagree. And the reason why I would disagree is that this Miami Heat team, they play defense, and their offense is a little bit shaky in the regular season, right? Because I remember last year, they were bottom five in offense. They go into the playoffs, and then they're the best offensive team in the league. So in the playoff series, Miami Heat, Indiana Pacers. I'm picking the Miami Heat because Miami does play defense and their offense is great. If everybody's healthy, if Bam is healthy, Jimmy's healthy, everybody healthy, this Miami Heat team would definitely spank the space. They'll definitely spank the Pacers. I was about to say Spacers, but yeah, this Pacers team, they're a great offensive team, right? They average like 120 points a game, which is insane. And they play at a ridiculous fast pace. You can compare the pace that they play at to the pace back in the 70s or maybe in the 80s because they were playing at a fast pace. They're attacking in transition. They're getting up and getting up out early. Scoring easy points, and that's what the Pacers do. They try to score. They try to outscore you rather than try to stop you. That's how they play, right? And in the playoffs, in the Western Conference Finals, when it came down to the wire and Boston slowed out the game, they were having difficulties generating offense because they had no shot creators on the half court. Now, yeah, Tyrese Halliburton got hurt, but they have no shot creators in the half court. And their best possible way to score is to catch you off guard in transition. So, yeah, I I mean, I don't know, man, but I'm gonna definitely pick the Miami Heat in the playoff series if everybody's healthy. But anything could happen. But yeah, but yeah, those are the trade targets. And last but not least, apart from Jimmy Butler, another player that I keep hearing is Zach LaVine. Now we haven't seen Zach LaVine in almost like what 6 or 7 months because he was in the regular season playing for the he was playing for the Chicago Bulls and then he got hurt, right? And then the Bulls came out with a statement that they want to trade him. They came to a mutual agreement to trade him to another team, right? But he decided to undergo surgery, and that essentially ruled him out for the rest of the season because he was undergoing ankle surgery or something like that. So um, we haven't seen him in a long time. Now the Sixers, like I said, if the Sixers really want to trade for players, they would have to do it through signing trades. And at this moment, you really don't have any assets that you can trade because most of your guys are most of your guys are free agents. You only have two guys that's on the books for next season. I think Embiid, Ricky Council the fourth, and a few other players are on the team for next. But case in point is the Sixers don't really have enough tradable assets, so it's going to be through signing trades. And whether it's Tobias Harris who you want to trade, or Paul Reed if you want to trade him, or if you want to trade some of your picks, I don't think the picks is going to be enough to get a Zach LaVine, right? But me personally, I'm not opposed to getting Zach LaVine. I'm not saying I want Zach LaVine, but I'm just not opposed to it. I'm just not opposed to it. But at the same time, I don't think the Sixers can get him because you don't have the assets to do it. Tobias Harris, Paul Reed, and the picks that we have, it's not going to be enough to acquire Zach LaVine through trades. And I can see the Bulls, if they really want to trade him, I can see them trading him to the Western Conference, right? Because you don't want to trade one of your best players. Or you can even say that Zach LaVine has been their best player since Jimmy Butler. So you don't really want to trade one of your best players to the same team in the Eastern Conference. So I don't see the Sixers acquiring him. If they do get him, okay, I'm not opposed to it. But I just don't see that happening. And I think the Sixers definitely need to go in a different direction in terms of trading for another player. I just believe that we need like high quality role players that can step up in a playoff setting. And one of the players that I'm pushing for is OG Anunoby. Thomas Talented, yo guy. Now, OG is a free agent, and he's likely to sign with the New York Knicks, right? He's likely to sign with them because his agent or the agency that he's under, I think that's the Knicks. I think CAA agency or something like that. So I don't see him signing with the Sixers. It would be a long shot for him to sign with the Sixers. The only way he would sign with the Sixers is if he thinks the Sixers have a chance to win. But again, with the season that the Knicks had, it's very difficult to think that the Knicks cannot win a championship. So if the Sixers get him, I would be so impressed because I think the Sixers need a player like OG Anunoby. I mean, he's versatile, he's strong, he plays defense. The only concerns that I have of him is his health and his ability to shoot the three. He's not really a great 3-point shooter, and he has been getting hurt these last few years. I mean, he was dealing with the elbow injury, hamstring injury, in this year's playoffs. So that's my only concerns of him. But when he steps on the floor, you know what you're gonna get from him. You're gonna get defense, right? Perimeter defense, interior defense, rebounding, and he can get you if he gets hot, he can get you 15, 16 points, right? And that was clear in the series against the Sixers because he was averaging like 14 or 15 points, and in some games he was grabbing 14 rebounds, right? And they were using him as a small ball center as well. So that goes to show you his versatility. He's very versatile. He can play the four, he can play the three, and you can run him as your small ball center because he's that versatile. So I'm really pushing for OG Anunoby, definitely. Even though I don't think the Sixers have a chance to acquire him, but I'm definitely pushing for OG Anunoby. And yeah, that's all I got. Sixers offseason plans, free agency rumors, and the trade targets. I mean, I broke everything down. Um, what I agree with, what I disagree with. Guys, I think the Sixers should sign. Um, the type of direction the Sixers need to go in. Yeah, I broke everything down, and I don't think anybody would really want to come in and give their thoughts. But I just think that if the Sixers can execute this off season right, this will probably go down as one of the best off seasons in franchise history. And hopefully the Sixers, hopefully something positive can come out of this off season because uh I'm hearing a lot of people saying that this is the final chapter of the process, which it could be true, right? Because Embiid is getting up there in age. Embiid is 30 years old. So you definitely want to maximize his chances to win a championship. And you don't want to play around because some people did feel like last season was like a throwaway year because the Sixers didn't really think they had what it takes or what it took to compete for a championship. Even though if you have Embiid, right, he'll give you some level of a chance, but if you don't have some of the necessary pieces, you might not be able to compete for a championship. And so in this offseason, I need to see a lot of changes. You know, at the backup center position, we need to see some changes. The Sixers front line, we need to see some changes. Um, and at the guard position, we need to see some changes as well. Now, I've been on the record saying that I want DeAnthony Melton back because he's very underrated. You know, he plays defense. You know, he can shoot the ball. You know, he does a little bit of everything for the team. But at the same time, if I get a better option, right, a better DeAnthony Melton, yeah, I'm definitely taking that. I'm definitely taking that. So, uh, yeah, that's all I got. Whatever you guys think, y'all can leave y'all thoughts right down there in the comment section. Tune in sports. Yeah, I'm looking for you, bro. I was all over Jersey last night looking for you, but I couldn't find you. But hopefully, I'm gonna find you the next few days because we definitely have to make this happen. So, that's all I got. I appreciate each and every person that joined the live. My guy Humble Man 420, my guy Shine, Thomas Talented. Appreciate y'all for being in here. Mishkovsky did stop by. Appreciate you for being in here as well. And yeah, that's all I got. Whatever you guys think, whether you agree or disagree, you can tell me right down there in the comment section. Uh, don't forget to hit the like button, and we'll definitely be back tomorrow for another live. But until next time, peace.